Because now joining us, fresh from the debate, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. So, Mr. Gingrich, what do you think?
I thought it was a lively debate. I thought it was hopefully useful to the American people. And I thought a number of the members who are running actually raised good ideas and good proposals. So I hope that this is the kind of debate we can have more of, actually focused on ideas and issues and solutions.
Me too. It seemed like a much smarter debate than usual. We have a studio audience here. A gentleman would like to ask you a question.
Sure. Mr. Gingrich, I had a quick question for you. We've got a largely libertarian and conservative audience here, predominantly libertarian. You wouldn't have to go too far to try to convince us that economic central planning is bad. But why are we engaged in foreign policy central planning? Why is it advisable for us to have 6 or 7 ongoing military actions in foreign countries that can't even be said to have ostensibly have attacked us?
Good question.
Well, it's a great question. First of all, let me just say that bureaucratic socialism doesn't work any more than traditional socialism. Obama's tried to impose a system where you get to keep your business in theory, but they get to run it through the bureaucracy. Same thing's true in foreign policy. I would replace virtually all of our foreign aid with tax credits designed to get businesses to be investing in countries, because I think you want to get away from our bureaucracy giving their bureaucracy money. I also think we have to rethink our entire policy in the Middle East. I am very concerned about the wars we're engaged in and the fact that in 10 years' time we haven't learned any lessons. This is a much harder region to change. It's not going to be changed by boots on the ground. And I think we're going to have a very new and very different approach to what we're doing in the region.
No, I don't know that really answered the gentleman's question. And you say the boots on the ground are not going to do it, but you say it would be gutting our military if the Select Committee on Deficit Reduction fails to agree and these automatic cuts were made. It's less than 10%.
Look, you ought to design your national security and your homeland security around what threatens you and what do you need to meet those threats. Whether that's more or less, I can't tell you. I'm for applying Lean Six Sigma to the entire Defense Department and the intelligence community and the State Department. I helped found the Military Reform Caucus in 1981. I'm a hawk, but I'm a cheap hawk. The question he asked was not about the size of the military budget. The question he asked was, though, about the whole process of multiple wars going on simultaneously in the Middle East with the United States involved. And I agree with his premise, which is we're currently engaged in a expansion of our involvement with no strategy, no coherence, and I'm not at all convinced that using the military in that way will be in any way helpful.
But if you feel that way and you're a cheap hawk, how is it gutting the military to cut $60 billion out of $700 billion?
Well, first of all, the number over 5 years is supposed to be $500 billion. And in the absence of fundamental reform, my only point is we have been eating off of the Reagan buildup in aircraft, in ships, and in other equipment now for 20 years. And we are about to find ourselves falling behind the Chinese in a whole range of technologies. And that does not mean you just want to spend money on them. It also means you want to fundamentally reform the system to make it much leaner, much more agile, and much more moving at the pace of modern innovation.
If we're going to be lean, why have ethanol subsidies?
I'm very much in favor of replacing the ethanol subsidies with a program that creates flex fuel cars and flex fuel tanks. Remember, right now the position is you as a customer don't have a choice. If you had a car that could use either ethanol or natural gas or regular oil, and you had an ability to find a gas station near you that had all 3 options, then I'd let the market decide. But it's silly to say the market's going to decide if, in fact, you can't find a gas station that provides you any choices, and you have a car that doesn't provide you any choices.
So
Brazil has flex fuel cars, and Brazil, in fact, is relatively energy sufficient.
But you would mandate that all cars be flex fuel?
It costs about $100. And the only point is, how are you going to ever get around to everybody having a choice? And my concern is, if you go out and ask the customer, would they like to have a right to choose? When oil gets above about $100 a gallon, $100 a barrel, ethanol is cheaper. But if you have a car that can't burn it, or you have a gas station that doesn't have any ability to provide it, you have no choices as a consumer. So I think a pro-choice position requires some kind of infrastructure that lets you make a decision.
I disagree with you, but I'm very happy that our audience says you're moving closer to Ron Paul on some issues. Thank you, Speaker Gingrich.
Good to be with you.
A big thank you to my libertarian panel, Matt Welch, Nikki Neely, and DeRoy Murda. Now...